yourself at home on your mat. Bring your knees as wide as they feel like they need to go this morning. Send your tailbone back towards the back of the mat, honoring any resistance that you find in your hips or your knees. Extend your arms forward. Let your head rest. Now, if you're feeling a little restricted in your back and your spine and your head's not coming all the way down to the mat, you can set your block under your forehead. That feels a little bit better. But whatever you do, just breathe long and take up space. And see yourself from above your body. See your fingers walking forward, moving forward. And see your tailbone pressing back. All from the foundation of your feet, the tops of your feet in the mat, your knees in the mat. Shoulders open. And just breathe naturally here. Just land. Take a few easy rounds of breath here to let go of whatever has already occurred in your morning. Let go of everything that you think might happen this afternoon. The only thing that has any use to us right now is this breath and the sensations we're experiencing in it. Now begin to build your foundation for practice. So we're going to create a lock, a bandha, right below the belly button. Pull that space below the belly button in towards the spine and then cinch in from the sides. If that creates space to drop your hips a little farther, good. If not, also good. And find some softness in the shoulders. Go ahead and bring your hands up onto the fingertips. So sort of tent your fingers there, let your shoulder blades come together. Keep them together as you put your hands back onto the mat, pressing down into the mat with all 10 fingers and your palms. And go ahead and turn on your Ujjayi breath here. Breathe in through your nose and out through your nose. Now draw into the belly a little bit more. Press the mat away from you. Sink your hips a little bit deeper. Draw the belly in even more. Walk your hands off the mat to the left side. So both hands should be off the mat. Really breathing into the ribs on your right side. If you want a little bit more, you can set the right hand on top of your left hand. And make this energetic here. Staying with your breath and your belly lock. Press the floor down and away as you send that right hip back. Walk your hand back through center and then send them off on the right side. Making contact with the floor off your mat on that right side. Breathe space into your left side body. Make that connection nice and strong with your hands to enable that lengthening. Tips of your fingers to your shoulder, shoulder to your hip, all through the ribs. And then walk your hands back to the center of the mat. Take one more breath here in your child's pose, knowing that you can return here anytime you like. And then inhale, bring yourself up to tabletop. So set your knees under your hips. Set your hands under your shoulders or your wrists under your shoulders. Let your shoulder blades come together right here. Draw into center. And just about 5 or 6 cows and cats. On your inhale, tilt your tailbone and your head up. On your exhale, round your spine. 4 more. Bring your awareness into that whole chain of vertebrae. Just feel the articulation between them as you move into this stretch. And then come back to neutral. Set your left hand towards the center of the mat and in front of your head. Ground down into that hand. Ground down into your knees. Reach your right arm up. Draw into your belly. And then thread the needle. Bring your right shoulder down to the mat. Send your left hand forward. Now there are a couple places you can use your block here. If your shoulder doesn't come all the way to the mat, slide it under your right shoulder. Or if you'd like a little bit more opening, you can slide the block under your left hand. About 3 breaths here. Just breathe into this twist and let it originate from that spot right below your belly button that you've got locked in and activated and energized. On your next inhale, press that left hand into the mat. Use it to power yourself back up. Come into that tabletop and begin to roll through a few cows and cats here. This time, if you want to bring some side-to-side motion into that, making a C shape with your spine, jump roping your spine just a little bit, just 3 or 4 more rounds of breath here. Sometimes it helps to close your eyes. That allows you sometimes to move with what your body is telling you and forget about the noise around you. Bring yourself back to neutral. Make that firm contact with the mat. Set your right hand in front of you in the center of the mat. Reach your left up. Pause here for a moment as you draw in, and then send that left shoulder to the mat as you send the left fingertips to the right side. Walk your right hand up and to the left. Now it's up to you how aggressive you are with these twists this morning. It's up to how you feel. So I'm going to cue it as if you're going pretty deep. I'll try to offer some suggestions about how not to go so deep. But you are your own teacher. So just be aware of what feels right. And don't get tricked into doing what I say to do just because it's said. Do what your body's telling you. Last breath. Come right back up into that tabletop. Tuck your toes here. Send your hips up to the sky. Press back for your first downward facing dog. Now notice how this dog feels. For me, when I come up into dog out of tabletop, it feels a little tight. So I might want to walk my hands like a hand's length forward. You notice how it feels. Play with the length of your down dog. And just for a moment here, press your heels down towards the mat. Send your tailbone high to the sky and hold right there. Notice that slow stretch in your hamstrings and your calves, your Achilles. On your inhale, shift forward to high plank. Draw into that bond, into the middle line. Your gaze goes down between and in front of your hands. Activate your legs. Turn on your quads, and then press your tailbone back up to the sky. Let's do that one more time. Shift forward into that high plank. Stack shoulders over wrists. Press your heels towards the back of the mat, and then shift forward a little bit more, bringing a little bit more action, engagement into the quads. And then on your exhale, press back. Go ahead and walk your dog here if that feels good to you. Or you can rhythmically lift both heels and press them back down. Take about 4 or 5 rounds of breath here just to explore what's going on in the backs of your legs this morning. Check in with your grounding in your hands. Check in with the ease between your shoulder blades. You can always work this from your knees if it feels better that way. Inhale, lift your right leg. Press your left heel to the mat. Turn that right leg on. Keep it straight, lift it higher, then bend your knee. Open your hips here. Stacking your right knee above your left hip. Shoulders stay square towards the back of the mat. Inhale, lift your right leg. Exhale, set that foot back down. Take a breath in and a breath out. Inhale, left side. Full engagement in that left leg. Flex your foot and then press that right heel into the mat. Press the mat down and away from you. And then from this firm 3-point foundation, bend that left knee. Open your hips towards the left side of the mat. Shoulders stay square. Inhale, lift your left foot up nice and high. Exhale, bring it down. Walk your feet up to the top of the mat. Come into your first ragdoll. So bring your feet at least hips distance apart. Have your block handy here. We're going to need it. And then let your palms rest in the creases of your elbows, or grab your elbows and just let your torso go. Keep your belly locked. So find a sense of ease in your spine. Let your head hang nice and heavy. Bend your knees so that your torso touches your thighs, or if your feet are wide, you might even come in between them. Begin to sway a little bit here, and use that swaying to do two things. One, establish your grounding of your feet into the mat, and two, to bring a little stretching into those IT bands. And then release your bind. Bring your fingertips down to the floor. Grab your block and set your block out in front of your head and ground your right hand on it. So set it a little bit farther in front of you than you feel like it's going to need to go. And then draw into the belly, lift your left hand up, left arm up to the sky. So you can keep your gaze down, or if you want a little bit more twist and it feels okay in your neck, you can look up to your left fingertips. And then go ahead and bend that right knee, straighten the left leg, find a little bit more twist here, and then exhale. Bring your left hand down, replace it where your right hand was, on the floor or on the block, your choice. And then draw into your belly, reach up with that right arm. Bend the left knee, press the right heel into the mat. So we're getting that stretch from the core, we're getting a little stretch in our right hamstring. Let's do each side one more time. Bring the right hand down, left hand comes up. Draw length into your spine, tailbone goes back. Exhale, left hand comes down. Plant it, ground it, right arm comes up. Press it into that right heel again. Beautiful. Exhale, fold forward. Walk your feet back in to touch. Lift up halfway. Exhale, fold. Inhale, lift halfway again. Make your back flat. Shoulders come onto your back. Draw into your center line here. Exhale, fold forward. Now open your eyes here. Look at your feet. Press down in all four corners of both feet. Then lift halfway with more engagement, more grounding. Exhale, fold. And this time from that strong foundation, come all the way up. Draw your belly into your spine. Reach your arms up to the sky. Look up. Lean back. Good. And exhale, fold forward. Let's do that one more time. Inhale, lift halfway. Exhale, fold. Inhale, rise up, reach up. Good. Exhale, fold. Inhale, lift halfway. Listen carefully. Exhale, fold. Inhale, chair pose. Sink deep here. So belly in, tailbone back, knees back. So knees stay over your ankles as much as possible. Choose your arm variation here, arms extended or into goalpost arms, or you can bring your hands to your hips if you really just want to accent that drawing in here. Sink a little deeper. Exhale, fold. Lift halfway. Exhale, fold. Inhale, come back into chair pose. Find your first chair twist. Bring your hands to the center of your heart. Hook your left elbow outside your right knee. Get long as you breathe in. Draw into your belly and twist as you exhale. 2 more times. Explore the depth of the twist with a lock in your belly. Inhale, come back up. Extend your arms out. Exhale, find the other side. Hook your right arm, right elbow outside your left thigh. Best effort to keep your hips lower than your heart. Draw length in with your breath. Twist with your exhale. 2 more times. Inhale, come back up to your chair pose. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, lift halfway. Exhale, fold. Inhale, rise, reach up. Spread your fingers wide. Shoulders come behind you. Hips go forward as your belly draws in. See the sky. And then sit right back down into that chair pose. Bring your hands back to your heart. Twist to the right one more time. Now, stay with me. Draw your belly in. Step that left foot to the back of the mat. So you're in a twisted crescent lunge right here. Hold for a couple breaths. Keep drawing in. If you need a little bit more stability, drop that left knee to the floor. Press that right heel into the mat and feel that engagement in your glute. Inhale, come back up to your twisted chair. Inhale, reach your arms up, sink deep in your chair. Exhale, fold forward. Lift halfway. Fold. Inhale, chair pose. Twisted chair, hands to heart center. Yeah, make your connection here, thumb to sternum, and then twist. Hooking your right elbow outside of that left thigh. This one seems a little tighter for me this morning, so I'm going to work into that by continuing to draw my belly in. And then take a step back with your right leg. Ground the ball of that foot into the mat or your right knee if that feels better, and keep working this twist. Let your gaze go up to the sky, or if you're not feeling that, just send it to the wall beside you. Nice work. Step your right foot back up. Find your forward fold. Now find your ragdoll. Step your feet apart. Grab your elbows, however you're binding there. If you want to work into your shoulders a bit more, you can interlace your hands behind your back and just let that sequence of poses go. One more breath. On your exhale, release your fingertips back down to the floor. Inhale, lift halfway. Exhale, fold. Inhale, chair pose. I know. Yeah, exhale, fold forward. Inhale, lift halfway. Exhale, step back, high plank to low plank. Inhale for up dog or cobra, your choice. Cobra is hips on the mat. Either way, keep your belly engaged. Exhale, back, downward facing dog. Step your right foot up on an inhale. Ground that ankle below the knee. Come all the way up as you breathe in. We're going to hold here for a couple of breaths. So square your hips to the front of the mat. So your feet are on railroad tracks, one on either side of the mat. Reach up nice and high. Look up, and then interlace your hands behind your back. Come into humble warrior. So you're going to dip that right shoulder inside your right knee and hold. Inhale, come back up. Reach up, look up. Exhale, release. High plank to low plank. Inhale, up dog or cobra. When your hips forward, exhale, back. Downward facing dog. Step your left foot up. One big inhale brings you all the way into warrior one on this side. Check in with where your knee is. It's pointing towards the center of those left toes. Draw your belly in, sink deeper, and then interlace your hands behind your back. Roll your shoulders away from your ears. Drop that shoulder inside your left knee. Hold for a breath. Inhale, come all the way back up. Reach up, look up. And then release it, step back. High plank to low plank. You can always skip this and meet us in downward facing dog. And there we are. Take a breath in. Breath out. Bend your knees, see the top of the mat. Move yourself to the top of the mat with a step or a float. Lift up halfway, fold. Here we go again, chair pose, nice and deep. One breath in, exhale, fold. Inhale, lift halfway. Exhale, step or float, high to low plank. Inhale, upward facing dog, shoulders back. Exhale, downward facing dog. Warrior one. Ride that breath all the way to the top. Interlace your fingers behind your back. Exhale, dip it down for peaceful warrior. Hold here for 2 rounds of breath. Press into the blade of the left foot. All 4 corners of the front foot. And then stay folded. Release your arm bind. Ground your left hand to a block or to the mat. If you're using a block, put the block in front of you and reach up. You're drawing into your belly. Send the right knee forward. Press the left leg of the left foot into the mat. Reach up, look up. And then set your block away from you. Step back. Vinyasa through. Or meet us in downward facing dog. Woo! Take a breath in. Let it go. Left side, warrior one. Rise up, reach up. Interlace your hands behind your back, shoulders away from your ears. Exhale, fold. Connect with the mat here. Lift your arms up off your back. Maybe drop your hips a little bit more, sink your shoulders. Then release your mind. On your mat, right hand comes on your mat or on a block, reach up. So you can come up onto the ball of that right foot. You'll get a little deeper in the twist here. I didn't call that last time, my fault. Draw your belly in a little bit more. And then exhale, release it. High plank, low plank, up dog, downward facing dog. Take a breath in. Let that breath go. Last one of these. Make your way to the top of the mat. Lift halfway. Exhale. Fold. Inhale. Chair pose. Exhale. Forward fold. Lift halfway. Step or float. High to low plank. Up dog. Downward facing dog. Right side. Warrior one. We're going to have the familiar. We're going to add something a little bit new to this. Interlace behind your back. Exhale, dip that right shoulder. Hold for another breath. Make your connection with the floor strong. On your exhale, left hand comes to the floor, right hand reaches up. Come onto the ball of that left foot. Twist, reach up, look up, and then listen carefully. Spin up into warrior two, keeping your hips nice and low. So you're going to send that left arm back, left fingers back, right arm extended forward. Look over that right middle finger. You might want to walk that right foot a little to the left so that you're in line here. Reach back, peaceful warrior hold, and then on your exhale, windmill yourself down. High plank to low plank. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, back. Downward facing dog. Breath in and breath out. Step your left foot up. One big inhale brings you into that warrior one. What can you find new here? Shoulders back, heart up, belly in. And then interlace those hands behind you. Drop the shoulders inside your left knee. Explore that connection. Should be the strongest ever here. Your legs are turned on. Keep them turned on. Release your bind. Find your block with your right hand. Spin into the ball of that right foot. Reach up. Left fingers to the sky. Hold in here for a breath. Settle your hips down lower. Keep those hips low as you spin that right foot down. Spin yourself up into your warrior two. Reach back, peaceful warrior. And then let it go. High to low. Plank all the way through. Inhale for upward facing dog. Exhale back. Downward facing dog. Beautiful. Take a breath in, everybody. A breath out. Look to the top of the mat. Now I'm changing my mind. Send your gaze back down under your head. Shift forward into high plank. Yeah. So draw into center here. And then roll over into side plank. Drop your right knee if you need or want to. Yeah, beautiful. So if you're dropping your knee, bring it under your hip. Reach your arms nice and high. Send your hips up to the sky. And then very slowly on your exhale, bring those left fingers down to the floor. Underneath your armpit on the right side. Inhale, lift them back up. We're only going to do one of these. Come into high plank. Hold it right here. And then find your side plank on the other side. Roll into the blade of the left foot or drop your left knee. Sending your right hips up to the sky. If you want to lift your right leg here, you can. Find your point of stability and then twist around your core. Reach down to the mat. Inhale, bring it all the way back up. Exhale, find your high plank. Exhale back, downward facing dog. Walk your hands back to meet your feet. Find your ragdoll. Sway a little bit side to side. Let go of everything that just happened. Let your head hang nice and heavy. Now take a rest for a second here. I'm going to show you something. We're getting ready to do some chair twists again. So I'm going to offer a little bit of an expansion on that if you're feeling playful. So that's side crow. So when we come into that chair twist here, so if I'm twisted right, I'm going to come up onto my toes, plant my right hand behind me, with the fingers pointed back to the right. And then I'm gonna plant this left hand as close as I can. My elbows are parallel to each other, and I'm just gonna shift forward, and maybe my femur bone and hip stacks on my elbows or on triceps. If you wanna play, play. So, find yourself in ragdoll at the top of your mat. Just take a breath and let it go. Set your toes to touch or close to touch. Feet are parallel to each other, facing straight ahead. Lift halfway. Shoulders onto your back. Make this feel good as you open up here. Breathing in. Exhale, fold. Inhale, chair pose. Options here, stay in chair. Bring your hands to heart center and twist. Or play with that side crow if that's part of your practice, if that's something you want to explore. I'll talk you through it again. We're just going to do it for about 3 breaths. Left hand comes down, elbows bent, right hand comes down, fingers back, shift forward, look over to your right. And then when you slide off or when you're ready, come back into that twisted chair, full chair, fold forward. Take a breath in and breath out. Another one, chair pose. Let's do it on the other side. Sink nice and deep. Draw your belly into your spine, send your tailbone back, drop deeper, and then hands come to your heart, twist. A side crow will feel differently on this side than it did on the other side, so if you want to try it, come up on the balls of your feet, bring the right hand down, left hand down, fingers back, and then shift over, maybe a balance on this one, and then release. Good. Come back, forward fold, ragdoll. Open your feet up nice and wide. Let your head hang heavy here. And then from this ragdoll, begin to straighten your legs just a little bit more. Don't lock your knees. Just bring in a little bit more stretch into the belly of that hamstring now that they're warm. Taking advantage of that. If you want to grab your big toes with your peace sign fingers here to make this a little bit more active, we're going to do this with your feet still wide. Go for it. Bend your elbows, they go out to the side. Tailbone goes higher to the sky, crown of your head goes to the earth. Release. Sit down into yogi squat, into malasana. So your feet are already at least hips distance apart. Keep them that way. Send your hips down to the floor. Okay. Shift back. So those of you who practice with me know that when I get about right here, my spine wants to go forward. So I'm continuing to work on dropping my hips down, increasing that hip mobility. So I'm going to sit down here. And you can do a couple of different things. We're going to be here about 6 or 8 breaths. You can bring your hands to your heart, press your elbows out against your knees, or you can put your hands on your knees, either one that you want. Sometimes it helps to get a little bit deeper, if deeper is what you're seeking, to slowly come up. And then as you exhale, just settle back down into it. So you choose where you are. Working to keep that spine as straight as you can. And then release your hands down to the floor. Plant that right hand in front of you, maybe on a block. And from your yogi squat, reach your left arm up to the sky. Draw into that belly. Exhale. Replace your left where your right was. Reach up. Other side. Exhale. Fold forward. And either sit back down in malasana for 4 or 5 more breaths, or find your crow. If you got crow in your practice and you want to play with that this morning, knees go wide, insides of your feet stay connected. You're creating a circuit here. Feet, knees, core. And then drop your hips. Hands come to the floor. Elbows are bent. Shift forward. Your triceps are going to create a shelf for your knees. So maybe you get 1 leg, maybe none, maybe 2. Maybe you shoot back into chaturanga. Yeah, exactly, Stephanie. You can use that to sort of protect your head. Beautiful. Awesome, Jenny. Nice work. Fold forward. Everybody meet at the top of your mat. Just hang out. I'll tell you what, everybody just come to child's pose. Let's do that. Now take a couple breaths here. We've got, 15 more minutes in practice. So you've just worked pretty intensely for 30 minutes. I want you to take stock of what's going on in your body right now. Just like we started, scan your body. Notice what feels warm and open. Notice what feels tight. And I'll offer this. Try as you scan through your body. I'm going to be quiet for about 10 seconds. As you scan through your body, just notice stuff without making it tight or loose or good or bad. Just notice. I'm going to give you 5 more seconds here. Decide what you want to breathe into, what you want to engage, what you want to relax. And then tuck your toes and send your hips back up for downward facing dog. Press your heels back and down. Good. Then lift your right leg nice and high. Step it all the way up. Come into crescent lunge. So that back knee can be on the floor or not. If your knee is off the floor, drive that right heel back. Create some space in your hips. Reach up, hook your thumbs, and press your hands towards the back of the room. Now, open your arms nice and wide. On an inhale, get long. And on an exhale, twist across your body. So you're twisting to your right. Hold here. Each inhale, making your spine long. Each exhale, finding a place to twist. Inhale, come back up to your crescent lunge. Then open out warrior 2. Straight leg warrior 2. And then reach forward, tip over into your triangle. A block is beautiful here. If you're using a block, put it on the outside of your foot, outside of your leg. I'm going to turn around so you can see what I'm talking about. And put it farther away than you're comfortable putting it. Changes the pose. So when you come in, most of us are going to come here, and that's what I usually do to my shin. This time I'm going to reach back a little bit, find that grounding on the block behind my right leg. Hold it here. Now press the heel of that right foot into the mat. Press the blade of the left foot into the mat and engage from there up from the earth. Feel that energy come up all the way up into your hips and your glutes. Draw in from your belly. Inhale, come all the way back up into that straight leg warrior 2. Bring your hands to your hips and look forward. Step your left foot far enough forward so that you can square your hips. So play with that, just sort of incrementally until you can settle in. And if there were lights here strapped to your hip points, they'd be pointing straight ahead. So then recommit, reground. Right foot presses forward, left foot presses down, and then keep your hands at your hips. Stand tall, hinge at your hip creases. Fold forward. Bring your nose towards your right knee. Hold for another breath. Inhale, come back up. Now keep your hands on your hips, or you can find a bind behind you if you're seeking a little bit more shoulder opening. So I'm going to interlace my hands behind my back just like we did in Humble Warrior. Sit up nice and tall, and then hinge forward. As you hinge, those arms come up off your back. And make this pose more active here, even if you have to let go of something in your shoulders. Notice the power in that right leg. As you press that foot in, that hip comes back. You find a stretch in the hamstring. And then maintain that. Release your arm bind if you've got one. take the block, set it inside your left or your right toes, maybe even put it up on high, and maybe set it farther ahead, and then reach your right arm up into the sky. Step just like that. Now keep that engagement in your feet. Notice what's going on here. Nice. Now, if you got hold of your blocks, keep hold of it. I'm going to make this up and we'll see if it works. So inhale, come all the way up. Turn that block around the other way. Turn your right toes to the left side of your mat. Turn your left toes to the left side of your mat. Step out a little bit farther. Good. And then shift forward, tip over into your triangle. That sort of worked. So again, that block, you can bring it on the high side here. That block is going to come down behind your leg. So the triangle is not so much the shape that your legs are making, it's the 3 points of contact that you have. And so the way I'm set up is my 2 feet and my hands on the block, my left hand on the block. Lean back as you engage. So engage as hard as you can, and then back with your legs, and then back off about 30 or 40% on that. Sense of ease, even in the effort. Inhale, use your core and your legs. Come all the way up. Bring your hands to your hips, and then step up. So you may need to reorient yourself. You guys that are in here, turn towards the back, where you just listen to me. So square your hips to that short side of the mat that you're facing now. Bring your hands to your hips. Inhale, nice and tall, and on your exhale, push your tailbone back. Bring your heart forward, bring your nose to that left knee. Left heel presses forward. Right foot presses down. Inhale, come back up. Find your arm bond. You can find opposite elbows here if you'd like, something a little bit deeper. Or you can do namaste hands, reverse namaste, whatever you want. My shoulders are tight this morning. This is as far as I'm going. And then hinge forward. Release your mind. Find your block or the floor. Set the block in front and inside of your left toes. I'm going to turn mine up and then twist. So draw it in, reaching up. Yeah, rock back into that right heel. One more breath. Now, on your exhale, bring that left hand down. Let's see how we're going to do this. Left hand down, and then bring both hands to your hips. Come all the way back up to that standing position again. Step back into crescent lunge. Press that right heel towards the back of the mat. Settle in. Sink your hips to the floor. Shoulders back. Good. Crescent lunge. Hook your thumbs. Reach back a little bit more here. And then keep your shoulders open. Spread your arms nice and wide. Inhale for length. Exhale, twist to your left. Let your gaze go out to that left wall. Hold for another breath. Good. Inhale, come all the way back up. Send your arms up. Take a big step up to the top of the mat. Yeah. And if you're turned around backwards, you can turn around and face me or face the front of your mat. So let's work through a couple of balance poses as we begin to work our way back down towards the floor. So stand nice and tall here. Set yourself up in equal standing pose, Samastitihi. So your eyes are straight ahead, soft gaze. Shoulders down. You can close your eyes even if you want to. Press your feet into the floor. Turn your belly on. And find a balance here, just sort of right effort. You're engaged, but you're relaxed. And then open your eyes. Inhale, come up into stork pose. Send your arms up. Bring your right knee up into your heart. Lift it up a little bit more, and then on your exhale, set it all the way down. Take a breath in, a breath out. Come back on the other side. Lift your left knee up into your heart. Exhale, set it down. Yeah. Come back on the other side. Right knee up, both arms up. And then take your left hand, put it outside your right knee, and then put your right hand either extended behind you or on your right hip, and look back over that shoulder, your choice. So you're going to draw your body in two different ways. You're going to draw with your left hand, pulling that right knee across, and reach back with your right fingertips. Come back up into stork, and then set it all down. Breath in, breath out. Other side, left knee comes up, arms come up. Find your gaze point, and then find your twist. Right hand comes outside of that left knee or on your thigh. Look back over your left fingers. And exhale, set it all the way down. Come back into Samastitihi. Let's work our way down. Just come down to your knees. I want to do one back bend as we work our way towards Shavasana, the final rest. So I want you to come onto your knees, and you can tuck your toes or you can press the tops of your feet in, whichever feels better. So draw your belly in. You've had a lot of experience today with drawing in, so draw it in nice and tight here. I'm going to tuck my toes, and then I'm going to press forward with my hands. Hips come forward, shoulders open, and then keep one hand on your back. Reach back with the other hand, connect with your heel. Make that connection firm, and when it is firm, draw into your belly more, lean back more, release that second hand, and from this point of support, push your hips forward. Open your heart, shoulders together, drop your head. And then bring one hand to the small of your back, then the other hand to the small of your back, and then come into embryo pose. Bring the crown of your head to the floor. Let your arms come down by your sides. Send your hips back towards your heels. And draw in. And then come back up. We're going to do one more of those. Come back up on your knees. Stand nice and tall. Now, you don't have to reach back for your hips. You can keep both hands here if you want. So knees under, knees under your hips. Belly in. I'm going to tuck my toes again to make them a little bit closer from my heels to my hands. Drawing in here, reaching back. And then the most important thing here, the two most important things are belly lock and hips forward. Once you got that, everything else takes care of itself. Finds a lifting sensation, your heart up towards the sky. And then on your exhale, release one hand, bring it to the small of your back, other hand to the small of your back. Find your embryo. Curl into it. And then make your way onto your back. And extend your legs straight up to the sky. If you've got your block with you, this is Viparita Purani or waterfall. So I like it, the sensation of setting my hips on the block, extending my legs straight up. We're going to be here 5 breaths. If you have a different inversion that you'd like, Happy Baby is an inversion. There are lots of them. Find what you want. If your legs are extended, flex your feet and just gently allow this inversion to bring blood into those hamstrings that you've just stretched. Let your shoulders relax into the mat. And then on your exhale, whenever you're ready, bring your feet to the floor. You've got a block under your hips, move it to the side. Extend your left leg. Bring your right knee up into your heart. Drop it across. Guide that right knee with your left hand. Look out across your extended right arm. See what you can let go of here. Keeping that belly lock, keeping that smooth, even breath. Find some ease in your shoulders. If you want to connect with something and your knee doesn't come all the way to the ground, set that block under your knee. Keep your shoulder connected. And switch sides. So draw back into center, maybe give both knees a hug. And then extend that right leg. Draw that left knee in tighter, guide it across with your right hand. Maybe a block meets you there, maybe not. That left shoulder stays connected to the floor. On your inhale, come back to the center of your mat. Squeeze both knees up into your heart. Lift your forehead or your eye sockets up to your kneecaps. Take a big breath in. And on your exhale, let it all go. Take a couple breaths here to set yourself up in a way that you can be comfortable. If you have a prop, a bolster, a pillow, or something you want to put under your knees, if you want to cover up, if you want to put the block under your head, whatever feels good for you, get there. And then take a big breath in together. Open your mouth, let it go together. And take your Shavasana. Let every cell in your body relax. Let your feet follow them. Let your muscles relax and slip away from the bone. Your skin soften, slip away from your muscles. Just melt into the earth. Take your rest. Let your awareness very slowly come back into your body with nothing to rush, nothing to force. Be still. And just begin to feel the dimensions of your body on your mat. Feel the weight of your body. And feel the length and the width, the depth. And take a breath into that whole space and let it go. And then with an intention of noticing, just slowly begin to move your fingers, just your fingers, not your hands, just your fingers. And bring some awareness into those small movements. And then bring movement into your hands, into your wrists, up your forearms to your elbows, your upper arms to your shoulders. And then bring that attention to your toes, small movements with your toes, and your feet, your ankles, calves, shins, knees, your thighs. And take a stretch with a big inhale. And on your exhale, roll over onto your favorite side, your left side or your right. Doesn't matter. And curl up into a ball there. You're going to take a few breaths of rest. And in stillness, to notice this place in between. What's showing up for you right now? What has happened in your body? What is happening now? And what do you want to take from this practice, if anything, into the rest of your day? And what do you want to leave right here? Just take a couple breaths to get clear on that. And keep your eyes closed. Press yourself up to seated. And feel yourself in your seat, taking your seat. Feel the warmth of your body. Feel the strength of your body and your spirit. Bring the hands together to the center of your heart. Thank you all for practicing this morning, for doing this practice for yourself, and for doing this practice together for the community. So lift your thumb knuckles up to the center of your forehead, open your eyes, and we say to each other, Namaste.